Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webcast exploring the new Microsoft BI landscape. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Michael Zolfo, and I'm a business intelligence and analytics consultant. I'm joined today in our Philadelphia office by my colleague Nick Ceneviva, who is also a BI and analytics consultant. We have a good amount to get through today as Microsoft is doing a lot with their BI tools. Today's main objective is to give you a high-level overview of the existing Microsoft Business Intelligence suite of products, and also talk about the roadmap and the various on-premise versus cloud-based options you should consider going forward. There's a lot for us to cover today, so if you do have any questions or are interested in learning more about a particular tool, please let us know through the comments section of the WebEx window or by emailing us directly. Our emails will be shared again at the end. Any questions we don't get to during the session, we will follow up by email afterwards. I will start by briefly introducing Thorogood, and then we'll dive right into the Microsoft product suite. To simplify the various products, we've broken the product suite into 5 different sections: desktop BI tools, collaboration, data platform, mobile, and analytics. There's a lot we could show you, but we tried to highlight some useful features through several product demos. We do have a whole host of on-demand videos as well as future events planned where we will go into more detail around some of these topics. For those of you who are not familiar with Thorogood, we are an independent global professional services firm specializing in business intelligence and analytics solutions, strategies, and services. Founded in 1987, we now operate globally from our offices in London, New York, Philadelphia, and Bangalore. We recruit and train consultants to develop a unique mix of skills, blending business understanding in the form of industry and functional experience with strong technical aptitude and a deep understanding of analytical tools and techniques. This intersection of these skills results in a high-quality service that include application design and development, implementing software such as the ones we'll show you today, as well as data and analytics services, training, support, and strategies. Our clients are some of the leading organizations in the consumer goods, pharmaceutical, healthcare, banking, and insurance sectors. Here we've included a list of our customers by sector to help you get a sense of the types of companies we've helped with our business intelligence and analytics. We are independent in that we don't work with one specific technology. We do, however, partner with a wide array of technology firms in the business intelligence market, including back-end, front-end, and analytics-driven technologies. But for today, we'll be focusing on the Microsoft BI suite. For over 10 years now, we've been a gold certified partner with Microsoft in data analytics and business intelligence solutions. Our partnership gives us a great interface into the Microsoft development team. We not only understand what their thinking is around their product roadmaps, but we can also input into the direction of the product. We can feed back into early betas and pre-releases. We are part of a number of their programs as listed here. If you're interested in working with us in any of the listed innovation programs, please reach out and let us know. We'll start with a quick overview of the Microsoft product portfolio. We split the portfolio down into these 5 slices to help simplify the landscape so that we can cover as much as possible in this webcast. Microsoft has tools in every layer of this architecture. Although they still have the cloud-first, mobile-first mantra, there recently has been significant investment in server-based tools and hybrid scenarios, which has been great news for our customers. In order to simplify the landscape, you need to understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish and any technical restraints you might have. From there, you'll be able to recognize the technologies that meet your requirement. Nick will refer to this slide again later in the webcast, but we thought we'd show it to you now to get a feel for the reporting landscape with Microsoft. There are many options for creating, managing, and consuming your enterprise data through Excel, Power BI, and many other tools. These are the components we're going to cover during the webcast today. I'll show some of the new visuals available in Excel and Power BI, and Nick is going to show the mobile report publisher and reporting services. Let's get into the different layers of the Microsoft landscape, starting with the desktop BI tools. Excel has been the BI tool of choice, at least until the arrival of Power BI, which we'll get to shortly. Excel has capabilities that give us the ability to source, model, and visualize data. Excel 2016 was released in September. The new improvements include forecasting functions, new visualizations, and the ability to connect to multidimensional analysis services through Power View. As part of the improved integration between on-premise and cloud, Excel 2016 includes direct publishing to Power BI service. In terms of subscription software for desktop BI tools, there's Office 365. We get a lot of questions from our customers around what exactly is Office 365. Well, there's a lot more to it. From a BI perspective, Office 365 is just a different way of licensing Excel, but with more frequent updates. If your company is a subscriber, updating to Excel 2016 is one benefit of your plan. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the new features available in Excel 2016. So one of the things about Excel 2016 is the new visualizations that are available to offer. I'm just going to show you a few of them very quickly. In particular, what's very interesting to our clients is the waterfall chart. If you've ever had to create a waterfall chart in Excel using previous versions, you know you have to do some workarounds to get it to look right, and it can be very tedious. However, now with just a few clicks, you can create a waterfall chart just by using out-of-the-box functionality. So I'm going to click Recommended Charts, and you can see that Excel is offering a different array of options for me to choose from, but I'm going to pick Waterfall Chart. And just like that, I have my chart. As you can see, it is a waterfall chart, but there's a few modifications I want to make it look more like a waterfall chart that I'm used to seeing. So I'm going to click on the line here. And when you click on the line, you have the option to get rid of it. And you'll also notice that the end amount is still floating on the chart, and I want to anchor it as a total. So I will go ahead and do that by just double-clicking on it and set as total. And now we have our waterfall chart. You can see the connectors between the bar charts, the revenue going up and the expenses going down, and our ending net income at $3,050. Another useful tool in Excel 2016 is the forecasting sheet. This gives users the capability of forecast reporting without having to know anything at all about how to forecast. What you see here is some sales data for a few years, and if I want a forecast sheet, I don't know exactly where to find it on the ribbon. I can use the new Tell Me What You Want to Do feature and start typing in forecast, and it comes right up. There are several options available to you. For example, if you want to extend the forecast another year, if you want to change the confidence interval to, say, 75%, you also have the option to include the forecast statistics in your report, but we'll keep that hidden because we don't even have to know anything about the statistics. I click Create, and it gives me my forecast chart with the upper and lower bounds and the median. Over here we have our sales data from our previous sheet, and here are the forecast and bounds generated from Excel. So you can see that's a very simple and powerful tool for someone who needs to do forecasting but doesn't have the knowledge of generating forecasts. Finally, I'd like to show you some of the visualizations that our clients have been using with other tools to get the results that they want because they haven't been available in previous versions of Excel. What you're seeing here is a sunburst chart and a tree map, and it gives you the opportunity to quickly and easily identify how well sales are by region and country within your organization. If you change the number just for demonstration purposes, so Spain's 24 million, you'll see that quickly it pops to the top, and it's much higher representation over the overall sales. Another good part about Excel and Power BI is that you're able to pin any of your charts to your dashboard in Power BI. So just by clicking on it, right-clicking and pin to Power BI dashboard, I'm able to share this information with my colleagues through the Power BI service. We'll get to that in a little bit. Moving on to Power BI Desktop, many of our customers are constrained by what Excel version their company rolls out, which makes Power BI Desktop a great tool to explore. It was originally built as a companion tool for the Power BI service for users who do not have a recent version of Excel or perhaps wanted a 64-bit desktop client for in-memory operations. Since its release for general availability in July, Power BI has evolved into the go-to place for Microsoft Self-Service BI. Monthly updates include new visualizations, the ability to connect to a wide array of different data sources, and the ability to embed content such as our visualizations. As a result of these updates, this product is evolving and improving very quickly. Maybe best of all, the product is free to download and use. Let's take a look at Power BI Desktop. So what you're seeing here is a blank page that I created to give you the look and feel of how Power BI Desktop is when you open it up from scratch. You'll also notice that there is an update available. I think it was available for download yesterday. What you have is your options for visualizations, and because I have some data already loaded on my dashboard, it's showing me the fields available for me to choose from. If I'm starting from scratch, I can go to the Get Data button, and you see the wide variety of connections we can make to source data. We have files such as Excel or CSV files. You can connect to databases or analysis services database. You have Microsoft Azure in the cloud and other online services such as Facebook and Salesforce, which is very popular. If you want to look at the data that's in your dashboard, you can click on your Data tab and select the table you want, and it shows you the data that's available to you. Now, it's not obvious by looking at it, but these tables are coming from several different data sources, and Power BI is able to combine them and connect them, and you can manage the relationships if need be, but usually Power BI does a good job of generating the relationships for you. So in this particular example, I am owning a sales reporting dashboard, and I've received some feedback from the users for a few enhancements. One of the enhancements that they requested is the ability to slice this report by region. You can see that if you select, say, furniture, it automatically filters all the visuals on the page based on my selection. However, there's no option for region on this page, so I'm going to add a slicer. I'm going to by just clicking on region, it automatically lists the regions associated with my data. And now when I click on East, it transforms to the East data, West, and so on. So really simple way of giving them an opportunity to further analyze sales within the company. Another request from the business was to be able to see targets versus sales by region. So I'm going to create a simple bar chart, and I'm going to select my targets and regions. And just like that, I'm able to create a new visual. Now, with Power BI, they've made a lot of improvements over the properties that you can set. So, for example, I want to change the color of my axes to black. Maybe make the title a little larger. And you know what, I'll change the colors too. Make it look more like my line chart. Now that I have my target value by region, I want to create a similar chart with sales, so I'll just copy and paste this. move it over, change it from targets to sales, and let me get rid of the target value here. And we have sales and targets by region. If I want them to align, I just have to click them both and click Align Middle, and now we have our two reports. You can see I have several tabs on this desktop. That's because, for example, the Eastern region wants to see different visuals on their dashboard than the Western region. So it gives me the flexibility of customizing dashboard pages for a particular region or group within my organization. And now on to collaboration. The 2013 version of SharePoint came with some improvements to Excel services, as well as some welcome improvements to Performance Point. Any reporting services reports that were published via SharePoint now have the ability to enable alerts, which can be configured to send alert messages to keep you informed about your report data that's interesting or important to you. Microsoft announced the release to market of SharePoint 2016 back in March. New features in this release include SharePoint now being modern browser compliant, so we can use Chrome or Safari and not lose any of the functionality. The ability to access information while on the go is becoming even more of a necessity, so SharePoint 2016 is now mobile-friendly to allow a seamless transition from the viewing of a site on the desktop to a tablet or a smartphone. As far as collaboration in the cloud from Microsoft goes, Power BI Service or PowerBI.com is the way forward. It's used to share content from either Excel or Power BI Desktop. On-premise reports or data can be published to PowerBI.com, and from there the reports can be edited directly online. This tool is completely free to start. To get the most out of the tool through the use of the enterprise functionality and advanced features, there is an associated fee. Now let's look at the Power BI service. So what you're seeing here is an example of the dashboard on my workplace. I have a sales workplace, and the Power BI service is largely comprised of three sections: dashboards, reports, and data sets. So a dashboard is comprised of reports, and reports have data sets. What you're seeing here includes our sunburst map from the Excel demo, as well as some other tiles which were of interest to the business. By clicking on one of these tiles, it takes me directly to the report supporting the tile. So in this example, it's taking us to our Targets East desktop dashboard. I still have the ability to filter, so if I want to click New York, it's going to update my numbers accordingly. And I also have the option to edit the report, and you have the features that you saw on the desktop available for view. If I am interested in sharing a particular visual on the dashboard, all I have to do is click Pin Visual, and it's going to pin it to my existing dashboard. Now, when we go back into the regional sales dashboard, you can see it's added the new visual to my page. Now, there are a lot of features available to Power BI service, too many to show on this webcast, but what we do want to show you is the ways that you can collaborate with your colleagues. The two main ways are through sharing and content packs. For example, if I am looking at a particular view of data and I find it interesting enough to share with one of my colleagues, I might click the share option, and then all I have to do is enter their email address, and I can share it with them, and then they'll be able to see the same dashboard that I'm looking at. In other scenarios, you might have groups of dashboards or reports that you want to cluster together in what's called the content pack. This gives you the opportunity to share with other groups within your organization or even the whole company. So I want to share my desktop, my dashboard with the Eastern Region group, and I'll call it Sales Dashboard. And you can give it a description if you want. You can even upload a logo or image to easily identify the nature of the content pack. So for example, if you have different sales or marketing or IT groups, you might want to use a logo so that they can easily see what is available to them. And you can see that you just click on the dashboard, it automatically selects the underlying data sets and reports, and maybe I want to also click on the sales data report. We'll enter description, dashboard, and click publish. And now it has downloaded the content pack to the East Region group. I can switch over to East Region, and if I click Get, you'll see that sales dashboard that I just created is available for me to get if I want to see that content. And with that, I'll pass it on to Nick to tell you about Data Platform.
Thanks, Michael. Let us take a look at some of the recent developments for Data Platform. SQL Server is Microsoft's long-standing on-premise relational database platform to develop enterprise solutions. And in the 2014 version, the majority of the updates came in the core database area. The headline feature was Hackathon, which gave the ability to create in-memory objects to get better performance. There were enhancements around high availability and an initial stab at hybrid storage. However, this has been much improved in 2016. The majority of the BI tools were largely unchanged from the previous release and has been picked up in the next version. So SQL Server 2016, which was actually just released for general availability today, comes with many welcomed new features and improvements. We will start by taking a look at the changes to the core database product. Microsoft has implemented a feature that allows hybrid storage of data. If you look at any of the marketing around SQL Server 2016, Stretch Database is one of the headline features. What this means is that your historical data that isn't queried frequently can be stored in the cloud through Azure. Your frequently used data can remain on-premise so that you always have good performance with this data. A new feature with regard to security is the always encrypted feature that ensures that sensitive data is secured at all points of the lifecycle, such as when it is in transit. Where this feature really comes into play is that high-privileged users, such as a DBA, can be restricted from having access to sensitive data. From a BI tools perspective, the majority of the BI components are getting a refresh. For integration services, there are overall improvements to connectivity, manageability, and usability. There is expanding connectivity to data sources both in the cloud and on-premise. Also, there is now the ability to deploy a single package as opposed to having to deploy the entire project. Master Data Services is a tool that is getting a lot of momentum from our customers. Master Data Services allows your organization to manage a trusted version of non-transactional data. There is a much-needed upgrade to the tool with SQL Server 2016, with improvements being made to the user interface and also performance and scale. For analysis services in SQL Server 2016, improvements were made to compatibility, connectivity, and performance. A much requested feature that has been implemented for multidimensional models is the ability for Power BI to report off of these models. Many of the other improvements that have been made are under the hood, but will result in improved performance when reporting in Excel. The analysis services tabular model is getting a massive upgrade. There are too many things to list individually, but if you would like more information about these improvements, make sure you check out our on-demand video on SQL Server 2016, where we highlight the majority of the improvements. Generally speaking, they are looking to make tabular a much more performant and scalable platform with improvements to DAX, connectivity, and the inclusion of many-to-many relationships. Reporting Services is getting a complete makeover. From visualizations to new features, everything is getting a new look and feel, including the option to add favorites, integrate with Power BI, and improve the consumption of reports through all major modern web browsers. Instead of just talking about the new features, why don't we jump over to the new reporting services and take a look for ourselves. So here we are in the new reporting services in native mode, which is where the majority of the improvements have been made. As you can see, it's got a much more modern look and feel compared to the old SQL Server in native mode. It's not as clunky. One of the new features is the ability kind of to make it a one-stop shop for Microsoft BI content. If you look here, we have Excel workbooks, we have Power BI desktop reports, paginated reports, which are the traditional SQL Server SSRS reports. We also have mobile reports and KPIs. We go and click here on a paginated report or RS report, kind of what we're used to. Your more just standardized reports that are more static, not necessarily ad hoc analysis. A couple of the new features that exist is the ability to now export to PowerPoint, which will allow you to annotate, present your visualization, really provide a narrative around it. You also could click here and pin this report to Power BI dashboard, which Michael previewed earlier, which also makes PowerBI.com kind of in the cloud one-stop shop for content. Other new features with regards to the visualizations are is now the sunburst chart in the tree map, similar to Excel. And when you publish an RS report, you also have the ability to publish the data set. So they're not here, but we could hide that, and you'd see we have a sales data set that relates to that sales report. So we can quickly, right here, create a KPI that's related to that report and that data set. So say we want to see just the total sales. Click New KPI. We'll give it a name of total sales. This will be currency in USD. And then after we do that, we have the ability to set kind of the value, the goal, status, trend. We can either set that and relate to a data field or set manually. So we obviously want to set the value equal to a data set field. So we'll go in here and we're going to have to select the data set, which is the sales data set. It'll then bring up this screen with all the fields and kind of the aggregation that you want to use. So we're going to want to do sum once the data loads, and then we'll pick the sales, and that'll sum that up, and we can then hit OK. And now we could, if we had a goal that we could set manually, we could set with a field. Same thing goes for status. We could relate that to a dashboard so you kind of know where that KPI, what report it's related to. So we hit Create, and that KPI is now added here. And say this KPI is of special interest to us, something we want to check regularly instead of having to navigate through the multiple folders like you kind of saw when I went to find the data set. We can just click here and add the favorites. And then in the upper left, we have the favorites button. If we go here, we have just the reports that we favorited, but makes it a quick location to go to access reports that I use more frequently. Go back to the slides. So as we just saw, Microsoft kind of has this reporting paradigm that exists of a couple types of reports. You have Excel reports, you have Power BI reports, and you have SQL Server Reporting Services reports. If you're wondering which one of these reports is best for your organization, it really depends on the business use case, as there are many options and there's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all solution. Each type of report has its benefits and uses. Excel reports remain the go-to standard for spreadsheets and ad hoc number crunching analysis. Microsoft Power BI offers the ability for you to create powerful self-service reports with interactivity. And finally, we have the reporting services reports, which are great for more static standard reporting. But getting back into data platform, the cloud offerings are Azure SQL Database, which is the relational database in the cloud. Version 12 brings almost complete compatibility with on-premise SQL Server, and because there is compatibility now, the migration between an on-premise SQL Server database and a cloud-based database is quite easy. Azure SQL Data Warehouse is Microsoft's cloud-based scale-out database offering. The data warehouse is capable of processing large volumes of both relational and non-relational database. In terms of Hadoop, Microsoft's 100% cloud-based Hadoop service is called HD Insight. It's got all the components you would expect from a Hadoop platform. It's easy to spin up new nodes when you need them, and you're only charged for the compute and storage that you use because it is cloud-based. There is a slight lag in features that appear in the open source community before they are added into HD Insight. This is because whenever a feature needs to get into HD Insight, it has to comply with the 99.99 Azure SLA. And there's an incredible amount of testing that has to go in to guarantee that. So are you looking for an upgrade? We have customers who are using SQL Server 2008 R2 or SQL Server 2012. So if you're in a similar boat and are thinking of upgrading, it's going to be based on a number of factors which we touched on earlier. These factors include the cost of the upgrade, the technical constraints you have got within your organization, your cloud readiness, what business requirements you're trying to address, where you are in terms of support. So for example, SQL Server 2008 R2 is already out of mainstream support. So if you are an R2 customer, 2008 R2 customer, you can answer those questions. You can then choose your platform as to whether you can go to SQL Server 2012, 2014, or if you're prepared to look at some of the modern platforms like Azure or the newly released SQL Server 2016. Don't hesitate to reach out if you would like exploring the different options and considerations that need to be taken before upgrading. Moving on to mobile. SQL Server Mobile is Microsoft's solution for on-premise mobile BI reporting. It is based off of DataZen, which was acquired by Microsoft in April of 2015. The DataZen technology is now completely embedded into SQL Server 2016. Reports are developed and published using the Mobile Report Publisher to easily create reports for both phones and tablets that leverage data sources used within the SQL Server report server, such as SQL Server or analysis services. These reports can then be viewed in the reporting services browser, as we saw earlier, or with the Power BI mobile app. It is worth noting that you do not need a live connection to your data, so it gives you the ability to work offline while on the go. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Mobile Report Publisher. So, as I mentioned, the new Report Publisher is used to create on-prem mobile reports. The Mobile Report Publisher has a drag-and-drop interface with this grid and also these grids that make it easy to kind of lay out your visualizations and optimize the viewing experience on a mobile device. So as you can see here along the left, we have a variety of different visualizations available. We have navigators like the Time Navigator, which kind of lets you drill into a specific period of time. We have gauges and scorecards to kind of track your performance against a standard charts, maps, and also data grids. So let's go ahead and drag on a few of these visualizations. For now, this is just using dummy data that's kind of in the Report Publisher by default. There we go. So as I was saying, you kind of have the ability to drill into time here. You got last year, last 6 months, last quarters all there. We can just add a couple other visualizations, easily lay them out, kind of size them. And this is all being done in the what's called the master view, which is what, if we uploaded this to the report server, if I would have clicked on one of those mobile reports in the reporting services demo, this is what we would have seen, kind of right here. But what I really, really like about the report publisher is that we can change the view and go to tablet And so with the visualizations that we just put onto the master view, we can pull them onto the tablet, and as you can see, it's smaller, and really will be optimizing the layout for viewing on a tablet. So we might want the time navigator on here, our progress bar, and the 2 number cards. So once we have this laid out, we can hit preview, and we can kind of demo exactly how this would look and also how it would feel on a tablet. So this is what it would look, but we have the interactivity that comes with the mobile report. So we can, I'm obviously using my mouse, but if you're on a tablet, this would all be touch screens. Select 2016, and as you can see, the numbers change. It shows our progress. We could kind of get more detail and just look at the last quarter, and kind of every time range that we have is shown up here. And we could do the same thing for a cell phone. But say with the smaller screen, we don't want to try to be doing that time navigation, so we just put on numbers and progress bars and kind of just get those KPIs. And again, if we hit preview, we'll see exactly how that would look and feel on a phone. Yeah, that's kind of what the new mobile report publisher has to offer. We would then, once we were satisfied with it, we could save that to the report server. These reports would then be viewable in the browser or through the Power BI mobile app if we were looking on an iPad or an iPhone. It's kind of the perfect segue into the Power BI mobile app, which is the cloud option for mobile reporting. The app is available for the majority of devices and has a very similar look and feel to PowerBI.com, but is optimized for touchscreen use. It is possible to view reports offline, and refreshes can be scheduled so that data is up to date for viewing. We're not going to have time to take a look at Power BI Mobile, but we do have a short video available online that goes into more detail and demonstrates the look and feel. Finally, moving on to analytics. With the release of SQL Server 2016, there is now the ability to run advanced analytics algorithms directly in the database, a feature that was not previously available. This is all part of the purchase of Revolution Analytics. With the integration with open source R and SQL Server, your organization will have more agility, better performance, and be more cost effective. You no longer will have DBAs that need to pull the data in memory for a data scientist to run analytics. Instead, the R scripts can be operationalized and run directly within the database. There will also be a bunch of pre-built applications available in the Azure Marketplace that you'll be able to purchase and run directly in the database. R is also integrated into Power BI. There are 2 recently released features that allow for R integration with Power BI. The 2 features are the RScript Data Connector and the RScript Visualization. The Data Connector allows us to load data from an RScript and then create visualizations using the Power BI visuals. The RScript Visualization, which was actually included in Michael's Power BI desktop demonstration, allows us to run an R script directly within the report off of the data contained in that report and then create an R visual. So these visualizations are a little bit different than the Power BI visualizations, but give us more flexibility to kind of create a different forecast plot or create kind of like a cluster plot that could be, the same kind of plot could be created in RStudio. For both of these different features for integrating Power BI and R, they both allow the statistical power of R to leverage the visualization and collaboration capabilities of Power BI. Azure Machine Learning is another one of Microsoft's cloud-based analytics services and a core component of the Cortana Analytics Suite. There are a number of pre-built functions to create models, which makes creating models incredibly easy. Additionally, you can extend them to run your own R and Python scripts. Your results can then be published as an Azure web service, which can then be consumed by other applications. We don't really have time to demonstrate any of these different ways to run analytics within the Microsoft BI landscape, but if you are interested, we do have demos available and be happy to point you towards them, or you can find them on our website or YouTube channel. So a quick summary of what we have been through today. As you've seen, Microsoft has a new reporting paradigm that consists of several different ways to create, manage, and consume reports from Power BI, Excel, SSRS, and mobile reports. These options give you the ability to create reports with data from both on-prem and cloud data sources. In the same way, all the different report types can be managed and consumed all on-prem, in the cloud, or through a hybrid approach. But looking bigger picture, the reporting paradigm needs to fit within your organization's overall BI architecture. The typical architecture today for a traditional on-premise data source might consist of Excel 2013 as the desktop BI tool, with reports published to SharePoint for collaboration, SQL Server 2012 analysis services used as the data platform, and data published through DataZen for mobile use. But moving forward, if you desire to remain completely on-premise, you can use an architecture similar to the one here. The same kind of project could be approached using a hybrid architecture. You could use Power BI Desktop and then publish the Power BI service. An Azure SQL database can be used to store some of the data while still using analysis services on-prem. What all of this means for you and your business is that you're not locked into a particular track. If you are currently on-premise, you do not have to stay there. If you want to choose some of the cloud services, you still have the ability to come back to on-prem. On-prem, off-prem, or hybrid scenarios are all supported, and we are seeing new releases increasingly offering more support for hybrid architectures that people have been asking for. There are a lot of points of integration between the data platform, the BI tools, and the collaboration tools, which is exactly where you want there to be integration, as the majority of the work is done using these tools. Choosing the right combination is based on business requirements, technical constraints, the capability of the tools, and cloud readiness. And kind of considering all these options really simplifies your list of choices and hopefully leads you to the right architecture for your particular project. We've covered a lot today, and if you would like to know more, we would be happy to help you with deciding what is the best plan of action for your company. Feel free to reach out to either Michael or I if you have any questions with how any of the components of the Microsoft BI landscape can fit into your current architecture being used by your organization. Also, keep an eye out for additional Microsoft events such as face-to-face workshops in both the US and the UK, where we will go into a lot more detail surrounding those technologies. If you would like more detailed information on a certain aspect of the landscape, such as Microsoft Power BI or SQL Server 2016, there are in-depth webcast recordings on both our website and YouTube channel. And we also have a few short videos related to Power BI that go into more detail regarding Power BI in R, the custom visualizations that are available, and also the mobile. Looking forward, we do have a couple of webcasts coming up throughout the month of June that are listed here. Integrating quick view capabilities in the Salesforce.com platform, trade profitability, so how do you get the most out of your data, and this is really focused on using both internal and also external data to just gain greater insight into market dynamics, especially related to CPG, and also Salesforce Analytics Cloud. I would like to thank you all for your time, and hopefully you found it very useful. Please do email us any questions you have or send them through the WebEx chat panel. Thank you very much.